Saudi Arabia and Israel remain on a confrontational course over the fate of Palestinians. In the latest, Riyadh has ferociously rejected Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's suggestion that instead of internationally recognized Palestinian lands, Saudi Arabia could establish a Palestinian state in its territory if it wishes to. Now, Riyadh's response, the second of such kind in 5 days, comes after Israel and Donald Trump-led America's repeated calls of displacing Palestinians to a third country. Saudi Arabia asserted that Palestinian people have a right to their land and that they are not intruders who could be expelled according to the wishes of Israeli leadership. Riyadh added that Palestinians have an emotional, historical and legal connection to their land that cannot be written off, and that no one can take away the right of Palestinians to exist on their lands. Saudi Arabia also warned that lasting peace cannot be achieved without a two-state solution. Referring to the now paused 15-month-long war in Gaza, Saudi Arabia said that Israel does not even think that Palestinian people deserve to live there in the first place. Now, Riyadh accused Israel of devastating Gaza with over 47,000 killed so far, without the slightest human feeling or moral responsibility. Apart from Riyadh, Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu's suggestion of establishing a Palestinian state in Saudi Arabia has drawn angry reactions across West Asia. Countries including Qatar, Jordan, Egypt, the UAE, Kuwait and Iran, alongside the six-nation Gulf Cooperation Council, called Netanyahu's suggestion dangerous and irresponsible. Meanwhile, Turkey called the proposal to displace Palestinians away from their lands nonsensical. President Erdogan specified the territories of Gaza, the West Bank and East Jerusalem as the eternal homeland of the Palestinians.
These proposals to displace Palestinians are purely preoccupations with nonsense. They are efforts to pound water in a mortar. No one has the strength to remove the people of Gaza from their forever and eternal homeland that has been theirs for thousands of years. Palestine belongs to the Palestinians with Gaza, the West Bank, and East Jerusalem. The people of Gaza, who have not left their land despite all the cruelty, savagery, and attacks of Israel for 471 days, will continue to stay in Gaza, to live in Gaza and to protect Gaza. Any plan to separate Gaza from the Gazans will crash into the strong wall of the truth and be smashed into smithereens.
The global discourse on the fate of Palestinians in Gaza has already been upended by an earlier shock proposal by the US President Donald Trump. Trump suggested that the US must take over and own Gaza and resettle Palestinians to a third country. In the latest, the US President doubled down on his earlier assertion and said he is committed to buying and owning Gaza while leaving its rebuilding to unnamed countries in West Asia.
I'm committed to buying and owning Gaza. As far as us rebuilding it, we may give it to other states in the Middle East to build sections of it. Other people may do it through our auspices, but we're committed to owning it, taking it, and making sure that Hamas doesn't move back.
Trump's comment, while supported by Israel, was widely condemned elsewhere in the world. But the most vocal criticism came from Saudi Arabia, where Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman said that Riyadh will not establish ties with Israel without the creation of the State of Palestine. The United States has long attempted to normalize diplomatic ties between Israel and Saudi Arabia, two of its closest allies in West Asia. Since the signing of the 2020 Abraham Accords, the prospect of a normalization agreement between the Sunni powerhouse and the Jewish state has carried high hopes of peace in the region. The normalization process stumbled as war erupted in Gaza in October of 2023. But with current Israeli leadership's repeated denial of a two-state solution for Israel-Palestine conflict, the question on the right of Palestinians on internationally recognized Palestinian lands is the one that Arab countries, especially Saudi Arabia, refuse to accept.
From breaking news to the day's biggest controversies, shedding light on the world's top headlines, detailed analysis on the stories that matter the most to you. Catch it all on Spotlight at 6 p.m. India time and 12:30 GMT, only on Firstpost.
We're calling the show Vantage. We hope you like what we put together for you. Touted as the minimum ways defense from that video. India's neighbors were the first to send the special edition of Vantage live from the White House throughout this week. Yes, Hindu Mandir we're on our way to Tel Aviv. Measure, but it's also the perfect way to drive.
I don't think that
Prime Minister of Bhutan, Sherin Tagwe. Welcome to
60% of the world's
office. Prime Minister Modi did the iron.
we were actually
How are you doing? How do you like? It's been 1 year since that meeting. Iron bars separate you from the outside. Out the vote efforts. Trump had, it says, and at $4.3 trillion. 300 billion by 2030. That's what we need to tackle climate change.